I grind cause I gotta get paid. 1% chance, 99% faith. I fell in love with the hustle, I fell in love with the chase. No emotion, put in the pain. We get it no matter the weather. Sun, snow, sleet, rain. Go sleep and do it again.
So I've chosen to make this video because I hope it can inspire a lot of people out there. I want to give an honest insight into how quickly things can move when you stay calm, are patient, and at the same time give everything you've got. 2025 has been an absolutely insane journey for me. I've always played football, and after around 14 years on the pitch, I decided to walk away from the sport in 2025. For the past 2.5 years, I played more or less professionally and represented a top 8 club in Denmark. But I made a conscious decision to go all in on my business with no plan B, with nothing to fall back on. I chose to go all in and build my business that now has more than 1 million in profit each year. That is the journey I'll be sharing in this video, the process, the decisions, the sacrifices, and everything that isn't always shown. I truly hope you'll receive it well. This is a video that has taken a long time to make and one I've poured an incredible amount of energy into. For me, it's important to document this journey, both for my own sake, but also in the hope of inspiring others. So I will walk you through January, February, and until December month. 2025 started in January and was an insane month for me. I was juggling football, school, and also my business, all three as full-time commitments. I woke up every morning between 4:30 and 5 a.m. and I didn't go to bed before 11 p.m. At the same time, I had landed a client I should help with appointment setting while being in preseason with football. Every single day followed more or less the same routines. I woke up, went to ice bath, did my morning runs, trained a lot. I had a lot of training sessions and also was working very much besides having school also. Non-stop every single day, 7 out of 7 days every week. February also came with a setback and an important decision. I chose to cancel a collaboration with one of my clients after discovering that years earlier he had scammed people and that there was public documentation about it. Regardless of how long ago it was, I didn't want to be associated with that. Walking away meant I was left with only one client to deliver for that month. It wasn't the easiest decision financially, but it was the right one because I also had my contract with my football club. February wasn't just about output, it was about standards for me and also building something I could stand behind long term. March was when everything started to compound. So all the work I had put in for the last 5 or 6 months just compounded this month. I signed 2 new clients, each on a 5-figure startup fee plus a performance-based agreement. On top of that, I earned a minimum of 20k each month in performance fees for both clients. All in all, March brought in around 50k Danish crown in profit. I also got my first office, continued school, and saw my business start delivering consistently strong results. Things were no longer just chaotic, they were finally structured and scalable. March was also the month where something shifted mentally. I noticed my interest in football slowly decreasing while my focus and excitement for business kept growing. For the first time, it became clear where my future was heading for me. It was a really strong month, not just financially, but in terms of clarity and direction also. So April was another step forward. I onboarded a new client and received a solid setup fee. I stayed consistent with the same disciplines as the months before: sleep, nutrition, training, and work. But my daily life became far busier than I had anticipated. I earned over 60k this month, and for the first time everything started to come together. Also, at the same time, the pressure increased very much. I simply didn't have enough hours in the day to do everything the way I used to. Because of that, I started to optimize every single minute I had. I streamlined my routines, became more efficient with my time, and learned how to operate at a higher tempo. It wasn't perfect, but it worked more or less. So if we move over to June, then June for me was a very special month. First of all, I finished up my education and finally graduated after 3 years of work. And alongside that, I also think it was the period or the month where I actually had a lot of fun and enjoyed life very much. I think for the first time in 5, 6, 7, 8 months, actually started to enjoy life and to have some fun. And I of course had some fun because 1, I finished up my education, and 2, I didn't have that much to do in my company because everyone else was also on holiday. Right before I graduated, I actually spent 7 days where I took a trip with my business partner to Marbella. And I also think, when I look back at this trip, that it was one of the best investments for me. Not only because it was super nice in Marbella, but also because I really found out that you could work from another place in another country and really just enjoy life and at the same time earn a lot of money. So I think it was also a very good investment trip. And also on the way home for this trip, I really remember that I was sad and was thinking about a lot of things. And one of the thoughts was that I came to a point where I said to myself, I really need to either choose football or business. So I had to choose between one of these things. And I don't think it made me sad, but it just made me think about a lot of things. So June for me was like very crazy and a very special month where I had very much fun and also was thinking about a lot of things. So May was pretty intense for me, especially on the football side. So I was playing a lot of football while continuing to build my business on top of the foundation I had already created. I kept delivering more value to my clients and maintained strong results throughout the month. I earned around 60 to 70k this month, which for me was a big milestone. For the first time, I had real financial freedom compared to when I was only 18 years old. I could afford to make choices, invest in myself also, and move without constantly worrying about money. May showed for me what was possible when consistency meets momentum. Balancing high-level football with a business that was starting to. So if we move over to July, then the first thing I did in July was to go on a trial in Germany for a football club where my brother also are currently playing. And I said to myself that this was my last chance in football. I made a deal with myself, completely honest. If this feels right, then I shut down the business. But if it doesn't, the decision is made. And the truth was, the interest was gone when I was there. It wasn't because of it was bad. Actually, it was super fine. Good people, good trainers, nice facility. Everything was clear and super nice. But it wasn't me anymore. I could just feel it. The business meant more, and I couldn't stop thinking about it each day I was in Germany. It gave me something that football no longer could, I think, and therefore I made the decision from that day that I shouldn't play football anymore and I should just fully focus on my future. And I think my future, the best future I could have was, of course, to scale my business and just go all in. So if we move over to August, then August was a very special month for me, and it was this month where everything changed more or less. So when I came back from Germany, then I picked up another little injury, which meant I couldn't play football in this period, and that ended up giving me the opportunity to really focus on my business without focusing and having a lot of other things to do. I also worked an insane amount during this period, and probably I think that was more or less everything I did. And in the 1 month where I could give my business my full attention, I also earned over 85k Danish crowns, which was approximately 25k, 30k maybe above the other months. So I also scaled my business very much, and at the same time I had more freedom than I'd ever experienced before. So I did exactly what I wanted to do. I went on spa and wellness, and I went to restaurants like more or less every second day just to experience things. And I worked extremely hard, of course, but I also lived in balance on my terms, which was the most important factor. I decided how my days should look, what I was focusing on, and what I did this day. So that was fucking nice, to be honest, and it was a really great month where I had a lot of freedom, momentum, and clarity too. So if we move over to September, then September was a very great month for me also. I made everything official after experiencing the best period I had ever had in August. Then I knew exactly what I had to do. So I terminated my football contract with my current club, which meant that my football career was officially over. I shared the decision public on LinkedIn, so everyone was aware of it. From that moment on, I could finally focus 100% on my business, and the impact was also immediate. Within the first 30 days after walking away from football, everything exploded, and I more than doubled my revenue, and of course my profit margins just followed the revenue with 96%. That was the moment I made the biggest decision of my life, the moment where there was no turning back, because I didn't have anything to fall back to if I failed my business, because I just terminated my football contract, so I couldn't get back again, and also I went out of shape and so on. So I didn't have anything to turn back on, so it was a crazy month also. So if we head over to October, then October was on another level. I earned a crazy amount of money. Well, I think it was, I know it was into 6 figures for the month, and I worked extremely hard for it. At that point, I knew it was all or nothing for me. I gave myself more freedom than ever before. I ate out almost every day because I wanted to. I bought things without overthinking them. I even went out one night, which I normally didn't do much. That month I also bought myself my first watch worth around 20k dollars, which is 150k Danish crowns. Not as a flex for me, but as a personal milestone. A reminder of how far I had come, because I had just hustled and worked so fucking much for several months without seeing any results, and therefore I think it should be for a personal milestone. So November was maybe the month with the most clips, with the most videos, content, and so on, because in November I flew to Dubai for 10 days. It was an incredible experience, and I enjoyed it with some of my close friends that I also do business with. Right before leaving, I picked up my first car, which made the moment even more unreal. Even though the trip was amazing, it wasn't like a vacation for me, because I worked almost every single day around 8 to 10 hours, or in the everyday I did that. In the weekend I of course had some fun in Dubai, and I was staying fully focused also on results and also on my personal development. So November showed me some very important stuff, that I also again could work wherever I want and also earn a shit ton of money. So it was also a very great month. So the last month in 2025 was December, and December was about building the foundation for 2026. I also spent a lot of time reflecting on the year I had just lived through, and also looking ahead to what the next level would require for me. Between Christmas and New Year, I also made a conscious decision that I would like to spend more time with my family, something I had barely done during the previous 11 months. December for me was also more or less about preparation and also growth, like how I could grow and scale my agency even more. I began focusing on the next level both personally and also professionally. I started also a YouTube channel that I was posting on some few videos about documenting my journey, and that was not for me to show success but to show the process behind everything. So that was my 2025 from January to December month, and the main reason I did this video was more or less to inspire people out there to just start whatever you want. I am 19 years old now, and in my 2025 I went from playing professional football to actually quit without having anything to fall back on, to build an agency that made over 1 million in profit. So that was my 2025 from January to December month, and the main reason I did this video was more or less to inspire people out there to just start whatever you want. I am 19 years old now, and in my 2025 I went from playing professional football to actually quit without having anything to fall back on, to build an agency that made over 1 million in profit.